Welcome to the Your Next Move podcast with me, Kimberly B. Cummings. Today's episode, we have to celebrate because if you're listening to this, that means somebody got a new job. So congratulations. I almost cursed. I almost said congratulations, but we're not going to say that today. I am so excited. You have gone through an interview process. I know when I was in higher education, it was a marathon of interviews taking over 2 months to get a job. Or sometimes I've had experiences that were under 10 days and I landed a brand new job. Regardless, you have gone through a process, you have your offer, and you are excited. So I want to talk to you about what you should be doing over the next 90 days. I think the biggest mistake that I see professionals make is that they are laid back now. Like, I got the job, I just got to go in and let me just figure it out. But I don't want you to go in and figure it out and allow that new job, that new company to drive things for you. I want you to come in and treat this job like you are a C-suite executive. You're coming in with a strategy. When executives come into a new role, they conduct what I like to call a listening tour. So before they go in and they implement anything, they just start something new, they do a tour to figure out who will be impacting their work. And we've talked a lot about relationships before. So this includes their peers. So anyone who's at the same level as them, their direct reports, the heads of various departments, less senior employees who could be focused on execution versus the overall strategy for an organization. And last but not least, their new boss. What's important here is that you understand all the pieces of the organization. When you understand all the pieces, when you get the different feedback and just literally listen, it allows you to inform your work versus doing the work and then finding out later that it didn't land properly. I know as a consultant, sometimes I go into organizations and I do roundtables and I just sit and I listen. I tell them nothing they tell me is too big or too small. But what it does, it helps inform the actions that I take and how I approach new creative solutions to problems. And when I have context, I'm able to understand what happens. It can be as simple as being in a meeting and you have a new idea and you thought that you rocked it. You are in your first 30 days and you notice that everyone's face around the table doesn't look like they're happy about what you talked about. What you don't know is that the other person who is in your role, your predecessor, maybe they did the same thing and it bombed, but you didn't know. You may not know how to navigate the organization, what leaders you need to speak to first, how to present an idea. All of that comes through doing a listening tour. And if you are able to effectively do this listening tour and gain buy-in and understand the stakeholders who impact your work every single day, it's not only going to make your first 90 days easier, but it's going to make your career easier while you are at that employer. Many times when non-executive talent come into a role, they just dive into the work, just head first. Let me knock out these tasks. But when you interview, the company is showing you the best version of themselves, the same way that you are showing them the best version of you. That's why this listening tour is so crucial and important. When I managed teams in corporate America, I was very big on setting up an incredible onboarding plan. And I know not every organization may have an onboarding plan. You may have never even experienced an onboarding plan outside of maybe a new hire orientation. What's crucial here is that I put together a list of all of the stakeholders who my employees need to know. These stakeholders, again, may fall into peers, direct reports, heads of departments, less senior employees, and new bosses who they may be interacting with. But I also like to include people who are influencers in the organization. Who can help mobilize their work? Who can help them better understand the nuances of an organization? Who can potentially be mentors or sponsors for them? And who is just that chatty Cathy who gives them all the juice and all the gossip to help inform their work every single day? In meetings, I encourage them to come up with a plan to schedule probably 15 to 20-minute coffee chats for each of their listening tour conversations. You never want to ask for an hour of someone's time unless you can fill up that hour. 15 to 20 minutes is a great amount of time to introduce yourself, talk about the role as you know it, but more importantly, figure out what they do. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What do they see as challenges in the organization? What do they see as opportunities? What would they be excited to see you accomplish in your first 6 to 12 months in the role? You want to make sure that you're documenting the answers to all of these questions and ideally getting all of these meetings done in your first 30 to 45 days, scheduling a few chats a week. When I was creating my onboarding plans for employees, I generally gave them a list of 10 to 15 employees. So if they met with 3 to 5 people a week, and generally your schedule is fairly light when you just start, it was super manageable. Take notes, put in-depth questions that you want to ask, research the professionals on LinkedIn so you have some background, and make sure that you can see common themes. What are the common challenges that you think that people are facing? What are the common opportunities? What are the things people are most excited about your role to accomplish with you coming into it? Remember that your job description is what you are hired to do, but it's up to you to leave your mark on the work. And I know when you start reading books, there's a book called The First 90 Days. We think so much about doing the work, about making an impact, creating value, but how can you make an impact and create value if you don't know the organization? That's why this listening tour is so crucial. And if you're someone who would identify as being a high achieving professional, I know I'm a high achieving professional. I want to find the opportunities so I can create quick wins in that first 90 days. So 3 to 6 months, I want to have a quick win. I want to find a problem that is manageable for me to solve and then be attached as the person who solved that problem quickly. I wouldn't say it's necessarily outdoing my predecessor, but it's kind of outdoing my predecessor. I want to make sure that they know Kimberly B. Cummings is a different type of worker, a different type of employee, and I'm here to change the game. I'm not here just to do work. I'm here to make a difference and create impact and value, and I attach that to myself and my personal and professional brand in the organization so that when mid-year comes along, when end of year comes along, if you're looking to set yourself up for your next move, which you should be doing when you walk in the door, you have to start from that moment to make sure you are creating momentum to move you forward. Many times, if you don't create momentum in that first 90-day period and you're already ingrained in the work and you're already trucking along, and then you wake up and you're like, well, how do I get on the promotion track? The best way to do that is to start at the very beginning, the very, very beginning. One of the things I talk about in the Next Move, Best Move Accelerator is how to create and present strategic ideas. When I first started presenting this workshop, people were like, I don't need this workshop. Like, I can just throw an idea at the wall and hope that it works and hopefully it'll be implemented. But we want to be strategic, not only with having a career plan for your first 90 days, but for your 6 months. And when you're creating and presenting strategic ideas, one of the most important pieces of creating and presenting a strategic idea is understanding the needs of the organization. When you understand the needs, you can brainstorm effective solutions. And when you have effective solutions, you can execute flawlessly. That is why your first 90 days is so important. That is why these informational conversations are so important when you are looking to make your next move, your very best move in the workplace. You want to proactively solve these problems to position yourself for career success. I know that is a lot of information and you are still celebrating your first job. Well, not your first job. You're celebrating this new job that you're walking into. And I am so excited for you. But while you're celebrating, while you're toasting with whatever a glass of you love, whatever the glass is that you love, I want you to also think about how you can maximize this opportunity. As always, you must believe in yourself and your vision in this new job. And when you do this, you will manifest the life you desire. Have a great day, y'all. I was already at that point where my doctor said, girl, you need some time, but I still talk to my leadership team. I found out what are the key tasks you need me to accomplish before I leave. And I didn't go right away, even though I was told you need to leave today. I was like, well, let me do 2 weeks. And I made a list of all the things that my organization needed, that my team needed, that my manager needed, that my skip leader needed to execute before I went on leave.